Now, wouldn't it be great if we could expedite the phishing analysis and triage process with some automated extraction and enrichment and analysis? Well, we've covered some tools and scripts already that can simplify the artifact collection process, but is there some sort of magic solution out there that can take all of the manual effort off of our shoulders? Well, I wouldn't say it's a magical solution, but in this lesson I want to introduce you to PhishTool, which is a web-based phishing analysis solution that allows analysts and researchers to quickly and automatically analyze and categorize emails and generate investigation reports. And so using PhishTool, we can gather contextual analysis of email metadata and URLs and attachments, and quickly turn those into actionable findings. And now, there is an enterprise edition of PhishTool, but fortunately we can do all of the analysis we need using the free tool. And so I'll have this site linked down below. And so we can just click on Get PhishTool Now for free. And of course, this is going to require an account, so we can just sign up here. And fortunately, we don't need a business email account, so you can use any Gmail or Yahoo or Hotmail account that you want. And once we're signed in here, you can see we're taken to this dashboard. And once we start uploading some emails to analyze, well, this is going to start getting filled up with interesting charts and graphs. But we can start by analyzing our first email. So we can either head over to the analysis section here, or just click on this blue Analyze button. And upon doing that, you can see we can drag and drop an email, or we can just click on Choose File to select one from our Explorer window. And from here, I'm just going to go into the phishing analysis section and go to the header analysis. And from here, I'm just going to select Sample 1. And if you remember, that was the Chase Bank phish. And so it's going to upload, and you can see we immediately have a number of useful indicators. On the right-hand side, well, we can see a rendered version of the email. If we click on HTML, we can see the actual HTML markup that makes up the content or the body content of this email. If we click on Source, we can get the full source of the email file, which is what we were looking at when we opened it up in Sublime Text. And on the left-hand side here, we can see some interesting artifacts that were automatically collected from the email. For example, we have the subject line at the top. We have the from and the to header. We have the timestamp of the email. We have the reply to and the return path, along with the originating IP and the RDNS or the reverse DNS. If you remember, this is the resolve host field that we were looking at when we were doing the IP lookup. In this case, PhishTool conveniently did this lookup for us, and we can see the Proton mail address. Now, you'll notice some exclamation marks next to reply to and return path. If we click on the exclamation mark, we can get some more details as to why this was flagged. And of course, this immediately highlighted that the reply to email address is inconsistent with the from header, which of course is something suspicious that we should keep in mind. The same deal if we look at the return path. We can see that the domain name proton.me is inconsistent with the chase.com domain from the from address. If we click on the Received Lines tab, we can get all of the different hops or the MTAs that the message traversed through on its way from the source to the destination. And these are all extracted from the received headers. We can see we get the timestamp and the mail server that sent it and received it. In this case, we can get the IP address of the original mail server, which was of course that proton.ch address. This tab makes it really easy for us to look through each of these hops. Under the X headers, this is going to specifically extract any of those extended or custom headers. You can see we get the X sender IP under here as well. Under security, we also have some additional flags. We can see that SPF is passed because the resolved host was proton.ch, which matched the originating IP. However, if we scroll down, we can see that DMARC had failed because of the spoofing attempt of chase.com. If there were any attachments on this email, well, we would see them in the Attachments tab. However, we can go over to Message URLs, where we will conveniently find that dsgo.to address. Now, PhishTool can even do things like integrate VirusTotal. However, to configure this, we need to generate a VirusTotal API key. I'm not going to show going through that in this lesson, but that is something you can do if you're interested. This will allow you to get VirusTotal insights on any attachments and URLs and file hashes, all from the same console. Once we've identified that an email is malicious or clean, well, we can click on Resolve here. And in this case, we can edit the email disposition to malicious. If we click on Flagged Artifacts, we can choose why we decided that this email was malicious. Of course, in this email, it was the return path and reply to indicating that this was likely spoofed. We also have this URL, which was using a URL shortener service to obfuscate a malicious link. Under classification codes, we can choose what techniques the attacker used. In this case, we know there was definitely spoofing going on. And if the URL was still live, potentially credential harvesting as well. And from here, we can just click on Resolve to, of course, resolve this email. And when we return to our dashboard, well, we can start to see some metrics are being filled in. Let's quickly analyze one with an attachment. So in this case, I'm going to go back to our phishing analysis folder and go under Attachment Analysis. In this case, I'll choose Sample 1 that had that malicious quotation.iso attachment. In this case, we don't need to go through every section, but let's go under the Attachments tab. In this case, you can see it automatically extracted the file name along with the associated hashes. If we had our VirusTotal API key configured, well, we would obviously get the result here that the file is malicious. In this case, we can just copy one of these hashes and manually head over to VirusTotal. I just wanted to showcase that it's also able to extract attachments along with URLs. So I hope that was a very interesting look into a powerful tool that we can use to automate some of the manual work. And I can't say for sure that you're going to be using PhishTool in your SOC, but it is definitely a useful resource to have in your arsenal to save a lot of time.